Hello Wanderers! I've been going through my dream journal I've had since 2020 and oh my goodness did I have some weird dreams. Some more vivid than others, like stupidly more vivid. And I'm going to make a series going through my dream journal. My brain cooked up some really wild movies and I know damn well it's going to cook up a lot more. I don't know how long this series is going to go on, but I hope you enjoy the ride regardless. This episode, I will read out the first few entries in my journal. Happy watching! Or listening if you're using my video as background noise. October 15th, 2020. This entry is actually missing from my journal, but I remember vividly enough what happened. But I don't remember exactly when it happened, so this date is a close enough approximation. Okay, so in this dream, I remember having to get some groceries for my family, and I somehow already had my G license, while in reality I was still a G1 holder at the time. Side note, in Ontario there are 3 types of licenses: G1 or the learner's permit, G2 where you can drive on your own on all Ontario roads but with some restrictions, and G where you can drive with less restrictions than the G2 license. Anyways, my dad asked me to buy the groceries so I agreed to go. Once I got to the city roads, there was a lot of traffic despite everyone being forced to stay indoors at the time. I slapped the steering wheel in frustration, but I accidentally pressed a button I did not notice was there, and the car spreaded legs and strode over the other cars and dropped in the parking lot next to the grocery store. Okay. I went inside and noticed that all the products were put into filing cabinets for some reason. An employee came up to me and helped me to get all the stuff I needed, and then I woke up. Side note, I told my sisters about this dream, and it's become a bit of a running joke for a couple months or so to say that maybe we should find out how the car sprouted legs, and then we could get out of traffic jams faster. October 20th, 2020. In this dream, my university friends and I were working on some sort of project. I forgot specifically what it was, but we needed a lubricant that came in a spray bottle. We needed to buy it from a store that looked like a cross between a Dollarama and a home hardware store, since that was the only store near us that sold that specific lubricant. It cost $4, but we were all broke, so the cashier was willing to sell it to us for a bag of seeds. I only remember going, "Are you sure about this?" before waking up. October 23rd, 2020. In this dream, my aunt, I believe it was, came to visit. I couldn't really remember her face all that well. All I remember was going shopping with her, my sisters, and my cousins. The cousins who I also couldn't remember too well at the time. And I got a really cute red dress. The time skipped, and I was eating noodles with my sisters when I felt something get lodged between my teeth. I used my tongue to push it out, but instead I pushed out a molar. My mom, who was in the other room, sensed this and gave me some tissues to stuff the gap with. And that's all I remember of that dream. October 25th, 2020. This dream was weirdly scary compared to some of the other dreams I had. I remember going to the university and I had to go to the engineering building, but where that building stood was the health building fused with what looked like a section of my old high school. I saw someone running in a panic in my direction, but before I could ask her what was going on, a professor stuck his head out the door and waved us inside. We followed him inside and into an office where 3 other students were hiding. I asked what was going on, and apparently a serial killer was on the loose. I looked to my right and noticed that a window was open with the blinds up. "Professor, you should be better prepared than this." We got notified that the killer was headed this way via the professor's walkie-talkie, so we turned off all the lights and computers and hid wherever we could. I don't know how much time passed or if the serial killer was even caught, but the next thing I remember was being at home studying. I woke up feeling really confused and disoriented. October 29th, 2020. In this night's dream, I remember being in 3 different places. First, I was at my house stressing while doing a homework assignment. My stress was getting pretty high before I found myself in a bigger house in a much quieter neighborhood. I realized I needed a break, so I decided to take a stroll outside. I was mesmerized by how well kept the gardens and trees were. Once I walked off all my stress, I went back inside to finish the assignment, but I was transported to a random hotel overlooking the sea and night had already fallen. I shouted something I don't remember and my voice was carried through the air like a cartoon. You could actually see the ripples of sound, but nobody seemed to care. I looked over at my computer and I saw that I had 1 minute to submit. My professor was sitting behind me looking really smug, so I submitted my assignment as fast as I could. As soon as I clicked submit, my dad had slammed 3 envelopes onto the prof's table. The prof opened the envelopes, and I was far away enough to see that those were coding assignments that I had submitted a week prior. And then I woke up. October 30th, 2020. In this one, I remember playing an Undertale mod where I got to play as Yoshi Kagekira. I only remembered the Papyrus battle being way more chaotic than the original one. It was probably on par with Asgore's battle. I guess he figured out what my character truly was. The next thing I remember, I was being transported outside where I met one of my university friends, so we sat down to have a chat. After she left, I got a Discord DM from a complete stranger to meet up and have a picnic. This was an instantaneous red flag, so I disregarded it completely. I assume I blocked the person also. I was at home at this point, and my mom asked me what was troubling me. I told her about the DM, and she said that I made a smart decision. And then I ate some white chocolate before waking up. And that concludes the first episode of the Dream Journal Adventure. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you enjoy what I do, feel free to stick around for some more random stuff. Bye bye!